Sometimes it feels like we're the only people hiking the Camino Portuguese. "650 kilometers to go. Still don't know why I'm doing this. My wife, Gloria, hasn't settled on a motivation either, but that's okay. There's nothing that says we have to have a reason for a self-propelled 30-day tour of Portugal and Spain. I'm calling it for now the joy of walking. We'll see how elusive that concept actually is." The official start of our hike is at the Cathedral de Lisboa, which was built in 1147, making it the city's oldest church. And it does have a rather unique history. In the late 14th century, word got out that a bishop, Dom Martinho Andes, was in cahoots with Castilian invaders, partially based on his refusal to ring the church bells to warn the populace the enemy was approaching. An insulted mob broke into the cathedral and threw the bishop out of the north tower window. We visited the cathedral the day before to get a stamp for our pilgrim passports and to explore the interior. The former costs nothing, but there is a €7 entrance fee. For the record, I didn't see the infamous North Tower window, and I looked. There is just one issue. When you get to the cathedral, there are no Camino signs. Don't ask me why, but there aren't. And so here's a starter course on how to get through the town without any arrows. So what you need to do is turn around, face the cathedral, and make a right turn. And that will get you started. This brings us to Cruza de Sé, which confusingly turns into Ruas ao João da Praça. That ends at Largo de São Rafael, which veers to the right going northeast. We walk into the Museu do Fado Plaza, veer left to Rua de São Pedro. For no discernible reason, directional arrows start showing up along the way, but they are, shall we say, discreetly placed and not always obvious when dodging traffic and tourists. The non-Camino type, that is. We meet a fellow traveler, Pam, who scrupulously avoided my camera. Sadly, her husband died 2 years ago, and perhaps I'm oversimplifying here, but she's solo hiking the Camino as one more step in the healing process. In other words, she's got her motivations nailed from the start, however regrettable they might be. So to be honest, these arrows, they're in short supply. And this route has all sorts of twists and turns, and not every single one is delineated by an arrow. And I don't know what to say, because it would be kind of boring if I put in the video every single twist and turn. So my suggestion is to use a really good app and a guidebook, and maybe both. And don't be one of those people who thinks they can just get away with following the arrows, because it's just not going to work out. You're going to get lost. Indeed, we temporarily get off track following this rest stop at a small park, victims of a missing arrow and the assumption we didn't need to pound the navigation app for every meter of the walk. Today is Sunday. We arrived in Lisboa on Friday afternoon. I'm sure that wasn't enough time to adequately appreciate the city. For what it's worth, Lisboa has a reputation as being a lovely city to visit. Maybe we should have stayed a little longer and not have been in such a hurry to get walking. Oh well, we're walking forward and onward with our adventure. We eventually near the city's port area, where the atmosphere is decidedly industrial. That abruptly changes with an explosion of gentrification. Turns out we hit a suburban development attached to an area that was once the 1998 World Expo. From grunge to a fantasy landscape of wonderful sculptures and views to the Rio Tejo. One usually expects the Camino to go through ancient neighborhoods, but this is clean, modern eye candy. Feeling a little guilty for leaning on old habits, we stop at a familiar fast food joint. In my defense, I only bought a diet soda. I needed the caffeine. The hike continues through the Riverside Park with its many distractions. And here we have the Ponte Vasco da Gama, the second longest bridge in Europe at 17.2 kilometers. Phew, you know, if we had to cross this river, it would take us half a day to walk it. Anyway, the longest bridge at 1 kilometer more is the Crimean Bridge in Ukraine. Well, so long as the Russians haven't destroyed it by this point. This one has managed to survive since it was opened in 1998 to commemorate the 500th anniversary of Vasco da Gama discovering a sea route from Europe to Asia. Well past the bridge, we're reminded of what appears to be a seminal event for Lisboa, perhaps rivaling da Gama's accomplishment. After all, it's not every day a papa comes for a visit. The Camino splits at this bridge. Now we could either go straight on the long established route for about 1,000 years actually, or hook a sharp right and go down this along the Rio Tejo, which is far shorter and, as near as I can tell, a lot more scenic. That is, it goes along the riverside for the rest of the day as opposed to going up into the urban area. This boardwalk was finished in 2023 in time for Pope Francis's visit to the city. I'm not aware he actually walked on it. The route on the boardwalk is pleasant strolling. The wide river feels like an ocean. The estuary is primordial. The only problem is when we're near our hotel, we discover an important issue. Once on the boardwalk, there is no leaving it. The path is bordered on the left by the A30 highway, as pedestrian unfriendly as it gets. Nope, can't exit there. We finally come to a short spur that clearly wasn't intended as a way out. Okay, we're probably breaking the law there. Desperate times and all that. Yay! After negotiating a narrow shoulder on a busy side road, we come to our hotel, where by our count, there might be one or two other Camino pilgrims staying. Pam, who deliberately spent most of the day by herself, is among them. I've been told not a lot of people travel the entire Camino Portuguese. Last year, an estimated 3,000 or less started from Lisbon. In modern Camino terms, that's not very many people compared to the 50,000 that started from Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port on the Camino Frances. Apparently, most people start their Camino Portuguese adventure from Porto, which is more or less 15 days from here.